All right, Shalom. There's a brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwad, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 19, and it reads, I have not spoken in secret. In a dark place of the earth I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. Jumping up to verse 17, but Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. All right, and I want to go into a lesson on that Israelite privilege. All right, and that privilege comes from Yahweh Shema Shai according to the promise that he made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that promise has been distributed to the nation of Israel, to the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. And this is a privilege that transcends lifetimes. You know, no matter what captivity we've been in, the Lord has always had mercy baked into our story, our journey, you know, with it ending in everlasting salvation. All right, real quick, it's Ecclesiastes chapter 44 and verse 21. You know, I'll start at 19. Abraham was a great father of many people, and glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High, and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful. Therefore he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea, and from the river unto the utmost part of the land. With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake, the blessing of all men, and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him an heritage, and divided his portions among the 12 tribes, did he part them. All right, and that mercy still stands to this day. All right, that mercy is only given to one nation of people. All right, and that is the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, a company of nations, if you will, but one nation of people on the earth concerning the families of the earth. All right, this is why the Lord said this in Amos, the 3rd chapter. Because even when you look at the chastening is a part of the privilege, you know, and I'll get that, Lord willing. This is Amos 3 and 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. You know, and we bring this up often when you deal with Christianity, you know, because they'll say, you know, the blessing is opened on to everybody. But why doesn't it work the same way with the curses? When you read Deuteronomy 28, starting at the 15th verse, those curses shall fall upon everybody if everybody are now partakers of the blessing. As Moses said, I set before you life and death, which shows you that this blessing is exclusive, just like the chastening is exclusive. And that's a part of the privilege. Now, see, what the world is unaware of is that the Lord had already put mercy into the clause, everlasting salvation into the clause. Even though he put us into captivity, there was always a promise that eventually the kingdom would not be left to other people. The possession of the earth would not be left to other people. Even in Romans, the 8th chapter, what does it tell you? All right, it's Romans 8 and 16. And it reads, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Shema Shai. And if children, then heirs, heirs of Yahweh Shema Shai, and joint heirs with Hamashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. All right, so Yahweh Shai is the top of that rulership because ultimately it belongs to him first and foremost, with the nation of Israel being joint heirs with him. All right, this is Daniel 2 and 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. See, only one nation on the earth were promised a kingdom that will stand forever, and that is the nation of Israel. That is a part of the privilege. This is why the elites concerning Esau, Edom, they understand that there's a blessing that is going to fall on the nation of Israel. And this is why they're trying so hard to upset prophecy, because they understand that there's a privilege that we have as a nation of people that transcends military might, that transcends economic power. This is why the Lord said this. It's baked into the contract. All right. It's baked into the marriage, if you will. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 41 and verse 14. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Yasharallah. And this is going to bring fame, if you will, to the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because he saved his people against all odds. We don't have power to deliver ourselves. This is why the Lord refers to us as a worm. But according to the promise that he made to our forefathers, he's going to deliver. And this was always in the contract. This was always baked into the contract, that no matter where we found ourselves on the planet, the Lord would come and save us. All right. Scriptures talk about the Lord sending a great one, and I'll get that, Lord willing. All right. This is 1 Kings chapter 8. And I'm going to jump down to the prayer of Solomon. All right. I'll start at 44. 1 Kings 8 and 44. If thy people go out to battle against their enemy, whithersoever thou shalt send them, and shall pray unto the Lord toward the city which thou hast chosen, and toward the house that I have built for thy name, then hear thou in heaven their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause. This is why, our apostles talk about this often. If we all face the east and pray to the Lord, this whole kingdom, this whole setup would be a wrap. But a falling away had to happen, because ultimately judgment has to play out according to the words of the Heavenly Father. And two parts therein are going to be cut off on this side, according to prophecy. But this shows you how deep the level of mercy goes concerning Yahweh Shem Yahushai and us as a nation of people, that we could face the east as a nation of people right here, right now, and the Lord will plead our cause. But the Lord's going to deliver us as a nation of people. And this is why it says in Jeremiah, the 16th chapter, it says this, because the Lord isn't going to have it that way. He could. It's baked into the clause. Anything is possible. But according to the Lord's word, his word is what stands firm. All right. And according to prophecy, a remnant, the elect, are going to be delivered on this side. But this shows you, because when you read the entire 1 Kings 8, the Lord honored Solomon's prayer. But this is why falling away had to happen, because 2/3 of our people, they refused to return. They would only send that prayer up just to be out of the hands of their enemies. It wouldn't be because they want to serve the Lord in sincerity and in truth. But it shows you how far the mercy of the Lord goes, that no matter where we found ourselves, the Lord would deliver us. All right, this Jeremiah 16 and jumping down to 14, it reads, Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So this deliverance is going to exceed the deliverance of Egypt. But that's because it was always in the contract. It was always, according to the promise and the mercy of the Lord, it was always set up like this. All right, it's Deuteronomy 30 and 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. No other nation has that kind of relationship with the Heavenly Father. You know, the whole replacement doctrine is false when you really look at the scriptures precept upon precept. You know, I always say this often through the Spirit. If everybody had access to the blessings, there would be no importance on the Lord giving a blessing to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For the Lord saying certain things concerning the promises, the nation of Israel being exalted above all nations. In Isaiah the 14th chapter, the nation of Israel ruling over their oppressors. These are very specific nation-based promises. Not believer and non-believer, but nation-based. Which goes back to the Israelite privilege that as a nation of people, the Lord is going to save us with an everlasting salvation. And even 2/3 of our people, after they learn this lesson through death by pain, they're going to be in the kingdom, contrary to what guys are saying nowadays. Because before we were given the laws on Mount Sinai that were written down, there was a promise made to our forefathers. All right, real quick, this is Galatians chapter 4. And I'll jump down. Slacky, I'll jump up to, let's see. Salakia. Yeah, Salakia. This is Galatians chapter 3 and 16. It says, now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He said, not unto seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Hamashiach. This I say that the covenant that was confirmed before of Yahweh in Hamashiach, the law which was 430 years after, cannot disannul that it should make the promise of none effect. For if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more of promise, but God gave it to Abraham by promise. You know, and that's why there's a level of privilege through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shad that we have as a nation of people because of our forefather, because of the promise made to our forefather. You know, because of what the Lord gave to Abraham as a promise. And this is what Paul was going into. He wasn't saying that the law was completely done away with, but what he was expressing is that before we found ourselves in this predicament concerning captivity, the Lord had already promised Abraham that his seed would be exalted. And then that it was passed down to Isaac. It was passed down to Jacob, and it was distributed. We just read that in Sirach, the 44th chapter, the last 2 verses. And that stands forever. All right. Malachi 3 and 6 reads this. And this is why us as a nation of people, even if other nations don't understand it, this is why the hate is so real, because there's something that they can't touch. There's an intangible gift that the Lord has given us as a nation of people, that no matter what situation we're in, we're still a salt of the earth. And really that goes back to the jealousy, the envy, especially when you deal with Esau. Because again, Esau gave up his birthright. And now there's an envy that comes with their rulership. This is why all the way in the suburbs, they can't help but talk about us as a nation of people, because there's a certain envy. Their elites are aware of where it comes from, but the average Edomite doesn't even know why they hate Jake like they hate Jake. But there's an envy that comes with us being in this condition and still being the inheritors, if you will, of all things under Hamashiach. And nobody can stop that. Esau's going to fight like hell, but he can't stop that. He's going to come down with great wrath, and he's going to put some of the elect to death, but he can't stop what the Lord has already ordained. All right, this is Malachi 3 and 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. And this is why we have great confidence in the Lord, not in ourselves. We understand that as men in the flesh and blood, we are limited. We are weak and feeble. But because the Lord loved us as a nation of people, great deliverance is coming. You know, I'll never forget this. I'll never forget it. Elder Manasseh Zakbar did a lesson. He said great bias would be shown. You know, because ultimately The Lord choosing us as a nation of people is bias, is great bias, but it shows that the Lord has power. He's not a stagnant power. He's a power that has a mind. For you to have preference, you have to have a mind. You have to have a personality, if you will, to have preference. And the Lord has preference. And that preference stands forever. That's why it says, therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. You know, brothers use the analogy of having a favorite shirt, favorite shoe. All right, matter of fact, let me grab that. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 5. And I'll start at, let's start at 23. Because this is what they try to do. They try to take the personality, if you will, from the Heavenly Father and just make him a stagnant. They just use that word God and just make him stagnant. Like everything he said concerning nations is no longer applicable. No, like the Lord has personality. He likes certain things amongst his creation, and that includes people. He chose one nation of people above all other nations. That is privilege. That is preference. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 5 and 23, and said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee only one only vine, and of all lands of the whole world thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily, and of all the depths of the sea thou hast filled thee one river, and of all builded cities thou hast hollowed Zion unto thyself. And of all the fowls that are created thou hast named thee one dove, and of all the cattle that are made thou hast provided thee one sheep, and among all the multitudes of people thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest thou gavest a law that is approved of all. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over unto many, and upon the one root hast thou prepared others? And why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many? Which shows the preference. It shows the privilege. You know, because there's privilege in chastening. There is a privilege in being chastened. But you have to understand judgment to see the mercy and what the Lord did to us as a nation of people. All right. This is 2nd Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 12. It says, Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. For it is a token of his great goodness, when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they become to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us, lest that, being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. See, this is why we went into captivity so often. It was mercy in it, because if the Lord allowed us from the moment we offended all the way up until now to just continue to offend without any chastening, the Lord would take vengeance on us. And we're about to witness what vengeance looks like. All right. Right now, our people don't understand because the only thing they see is us being chastened as a nation of people. But the roles are about to reverse, and the Lord's going to take vengeance. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12 and 20. It says, For if thou didst punish the enemies of thy children and condemned them to death with such deliberation, giving them time and place whereby they might be delivered from their malice, with how great circumspection didst thou judge thine own sons, unto whose fathers thou hast sworn and made covenants of good promise. Now, the reason I'm reading this is because when you go into this chapter, Solomon is explaining how the Lord, before we went in there and took the land from the Canaanites, he was chastening them. He was giving them storms. He was giving them tempests. He was doing little things to them, but they would not receive correction until he was justified in bringing in, Joshua and allowing us to take over that land. He was chastening them little by little, and they were wicked, completely off. And Solomon was making a comparison that if the Lord did that with them, how much more is the Lord going to show mercy to us whose fathers he swore to? So even what we're going through right now, as heavy as it is, You know, the scriptures talk about it wearing out the saints. It's mercy compared to what's about to happen. And that's when it's really going to hit home how merciful the Lord is to us as a nation of people when we witness this. All right, this is verse 22. Therefore, whereas thou dost chasten us, thou scourgest our enemies 1,000 times more, to the intent that when we judge, we should carefully think of thy goodness. And when we ourselves are judged, we should look for mercy. So the Lord's about to scourge our enemies 1,000 times more than what we've went through since we got over here, which is privilege. You know, when I think about all of these precepts, it brings to mind privilege. You know, our people envy their oppressors without realizing how much privilege we actually have with the Lord, even in the lower state. You think about 2/3 in Babylon the Great, they're able to do certain things that the ruling nation, Esau, can't even do. You got Esau, and Azariah bring this out a lot, the beloved brother. You know, you got Esau living in trailer parks and Jake riding in Lambos and, you know, lamb chops and all of that. So even in the lower state, the Lord is done showed Jake mercy, but they just refuse to return. They have received benefits and not known the Lord. Because one thing I notice about Yahweh Shemel Shah is it ain't about the substance. It's about your heart. You know, the Lord told King David, if you would have asked for it, I would have gave you such and such things if you didn't have enough. The Lord is abundant, but our heart wasn't right with the Lord. That's why we ended up in this condition. But the mercy of the Lord is that even though we found ourselves in this condition, he's going to deliver us, beginning with the elect. That's why the elect are so precious. When you think about it, right? 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off and die on this side. But through the elect, they're going to receive mercy of Yahweh Shema Shai. And this is why the elect are so precious, and they're going to be greatly commended in the kingdom of heaven, because they're the vessels that the Lord is using to bring back the nation of Israel according to his mercy. As the scriptures say, all of Israel, thy people shall all be saved, roughly paraphrasing. That's a part of the blessing of Yahweh Shema Shai. No other nation is promised that from the one they ignorantly call God. This is Isaiah chapter 44, and let me see. I believe it's here. This is, yep. This is Isaiah chapter 44 and 24. It says, thus saith the Lord thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by itself, by myself, Salakia, that frustrateth the tokens of the liars, and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward, and maketh their knowledge foolish, that confirmeth the word of his servant, and performeth the counsel of his messengers, that saith to Jerusalem, thou shalt be inhabited, and to the cities of Judah ye shall be built, and I will raise up the decayed places thereof. All right, now jumping up to verse 21, check this out. It says, remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee, thou art my servant, O Israel. Thou shalt not be forgotten of me. Man, think about that, right? Because we blew it, man. And it's the mercy of the Lord for us to even have what we have right now concerning our relationship with the Lord, being able to know him, call upon his name. You know, 2/3 of our people really done lost hope. You know, this is what they say in their heart right here. It's Isaiah chapter 49 and 15. I start at 14. But Zion said, the Lord hath forsaken me, and my Lord hath forgotten me. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee. Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me. So we are not forgotten of Yahweh Shema Shai. And that is the privilege that we have as a nation of people. Even now, 2/3 of our people have access to that privilege. They just don't want it. They refuse it. And that's why they're going to have to learn this through death by pain. All right. Now, there was one more I wanted to get. I thought it was there. Oh, you know what? I know. I remember. The Wadi Abba Shemal Shah. Here it is. It's Isaiah 46:3. Hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb. And even to your old age I am he, and even to your hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry, and will deliver you. It's beautiful. It's like the Lord likens our deliverance unto like a woman. You know, you think about how do they talk about a woman's pregnancy? All right, she's about to deliver. We're going through the growth pains, the labor pains, if you will, as a nation of people. The Lord likens us unto a woman, and this is the labor pains of the kingdom of heaven. And the Lord is saying, I will carry, I will bear, I put my name on you, I'm not taking it back. And that mercy is first and foremost seen on the elect through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. This is why the Lord said, for God so loved the world that I gave them. And when you think about that, right, and you look at all of these precepts we bring out where the Lord is expressing how much he loves us as a people. Like the fine girl that you wanted and you got her. The one that you messed up about. You effed up about her. She got a hold on you. She got your head in a vice grip. That's how the Lord expresses his love to us as a nation of people. It's fire, man. The Wadi How about Shemal Shai. Because everything that we go through on this side of life, the pain that we go through, it's like, it's mercy. It's mercy because if it was up to the law, we would be stuck here. You think it's bitter now. Imagine the bitterness of being stuck like this forever. At least we know there's light at the end of the tunnel. We have peace of mind. Because no matter where we were scattered, the Lord said that he would gather us again. And that's being seen first and foremost with the elect by the gathering of the word. But this is that privilege. And it's a privilege as a nation of people. It's not, nobody else has access to this. All right, this is Psalms 126:1. When the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongue was singing. Then said they among the heathen, the Lord hath done great things for them. Why? Because they're going to watch what the Lord took us from. They see us in our condition now, and they're going to watch the Lord take us from rags to riches. And that's how the Lord's going to show his love to us. In Ezekiel, the 16th chapter, the Lord talked about how he found us in our own blood. He cleaned us up, gave us a nose ring. He dressed us up nice. That was the Lord beautifying us as a nation of people. And he took that beauty away and cast us down. But guess what? He always said that, look, I'm coming back for her. I will not give my glory to another. Ain't no other nation gonna get the love that I got for his woman. As a nation of people, the Lord likens us unto a comely and delicate woman. That's privilege. When you think about a brother with a rib, that rib has privilege in that brother's eyes. She can get things from that brother that a woman in the world can't get. Brother ain't willing to die for any woman on the streets. But for his rib, he'll lay his life down in a heartbeat. That's privilege. As a nation of people, we have privilege with Yahweh Shema Shai. Even the chastening is a form of privilege. This is Jeremiah 31:10. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. And that's what the laborers are doing. That's what the watchmen are doing. We're declaring this through the Spirit that the Lord is about to gather us. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying with that. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.